everybody. How is everybody doing? Here are trans gurus again. In this beautiful day, we want to talk about something very special. Manifestation. I don't know, is it a heart coming out? No, it's not. Manifestation. I am going to ask my very good friend Jimmy to start the meeting, okay?
Okay, so it's really good to see everybody today, and thank you for participating and joining us. So when we were getting warmed up, we were talking about um, a guru is a spiritual teacher, and it is our position on this channel is to try to promote spirituality in but in your own way, as you see your own spirituality. And I think um, our existence as human beings, we are a spirit having a human existence. So our spirit is of the infinite. And I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier today, where our ability to comprehend our own spirit, our ability to comprehend the vastness of the universe and all that's out there. And I think just like no matter how hard you try, you can't teach a 3-year-old algebra. Their brain just hasn't developed to the point to be able to comprehend the principles of advanced math. And I think the same is true for the collective human experience, where I don't think that there may be a few of us, some some Buddhist monks in the Himalayas or somewhere that maybe have seen the light of the divine. But as a whole, I think, and all you got to do is just look around the planet. The actions of people, I think that there's an absence of spiritual enlightenment, but we're making progress. And the almost the vast infinite, uh, the sheer infinite of the human spirit, our spirit, that we're all connected somehow through the all, through the ethers throughout the universe. Our spirits are all connected. Therefore, the vibrations of each spirit, each human, we're all vibrating. We all broadcast a frequency or a vibration that transmits into the ethers, and all these energies dance with one another. And that is the engine that drives reality. That's what I believe. And so therefore that's what I believe. That's what happens in my life. So I was just thinking about this earlier today, where Ella put the idea out yesterday in our group chat that we're going to be talking about manifestation. And I'm thinking, okay, so if a person's vibration that we're transmitting into the ethers is so strong and so focused and so harmonious that it has influence over other vibrations. It's like anytime you walk into a room, there's always, you can feel the energy more from some people than others. And I think that's true with our aura that we transmit into the ethers. And what I mean by ethers is into the cosmos. And so if our frequencies, our vibrations that we're transmitting into the ethers are so pure and so just tranquil and pure, not just an absence of hate, but just pure love. And our belief is unshakable. I do believe that these energies will have influence on others. And as a result of that, we can manifest a desired reality. And we can desire or manifest these realities for ourselves or for the collective human species. And I read something a long time ago, and it stuck with me, and it's so true. Uh, the the um, the principle of manifestation of reality is simple. If you can envision it, if you can think it, you can envision it, you can speak it, you can become it. And I think trans people are proof of that. But it's so simple. Uh, and this is what I heard, and I firmly believe this too. Most people give up their magic simply by believing they don't have any. Meaning, people that that's garbage. You know, if you live in the 3D world with nuts and bolts and all the mayhem on the planet, yeah, you're not vibrating at a high enough level to manifest your reality. But if we live in a higher dimension where our vibrations that we're broadcasting into the ethers is more pure, we'll have a greater influence on on the events of the planet. Believe in your magic, and it shall be. Ella.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that, and it's really important about the positive thinking and negative thinking. And with those words, who wants to go next? Do you want to go, Bobby?
Oh, I was hoping Raji would.
You want to go, Raji?
But
Oh, Bobby, you can handle it. You know you're.
I know. No, I know. I really appreciate that because I've been going through a lot of that lately. I I was it was in San Francisco last week um, for a memorial service for a man I met 41 years ago, um, and he and his family absolutely changed my life, the whole trajectory of my life, everything that I have accomplished, and uh, everything that people think, wow, that's really, never would have happened if I hadn't met this person. And so I had to go out there, but there's a lot that's changed in 41 years, and so the whole trip was that was the first time I'd ever been to San Francisco 1 years ago. And this was one of the first people I met once I got there. And just everything about my life changed from there forward. Um, uh, um, and and to just kind of look at where I was and where I am now, because I was definitely in male mode back then. I was boy mode as I could be, and just how much everything has changed, and it was really kind of overwhelming to me. These, among other things, this family had a very severely disabled daughter. She had really bad cerebral palsy. She was quadriplegic. She's a chair user, very labored speech, and she's blind.
Wow.
And when I met her, she was in the second grade. And that was the day I met. Dad was working with his daughter, and in Berkeley, and they were demonstrating some assistive technology that just some of their friends in Silicon Valley had kind of put together. And this young girl was doing her second grade homework independently with this big giant keyboard and speech output and all this stuff. It's just the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And anyhow, that I wound up going to work for Apple for 10 years because of that meeting. And I did my dissertation there. I mean, when I say this guy had a profound effect on my life. And so, I guess I've just been taking a trip down memory lane here all week about how much has changed. And I think I read it the last time we were together, this quote by Gandhi that it just really sums it up. He says, "If I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have it in the beginning. And when I think of manifestation, that's what I think of. It's like, I believe I can do it. I don't have the capacity to do it right now, but I believe I'm going to get that. Uh, and 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 it's just kind of funny how that works. I never doubted that I was going to be able to get myself uh, into the life where I am now. But 41 years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, uh, that's going to be a hard thing. And these people were such great friends. They had uh, my only coming out party. They got all these people from Apple and everything. Let's have a coming out party for you in San Francisco. And I mean, it just the support and the love and everything. It's just been really overwhelming. And I almost never met them. That was the other thing that was really weighing heavy on me. I came that close to not going to Berkeley that day. I wanted to go do something else, and I missed. I mean, I almost missed it. So anyhow, I'm babbling. I'm wandering around. But what I was trying to say is that um, if I believed I could do it, the capacity came, and uh, uh, and I just from that day and meeting that young girl in the second grade. By the way, she's in her 40s now, and I went out there for my coming out party. It's like, hey, mom, guess what? I'm a trans man, and so now she's trans. He is trans. got facial hair and all this stuff, and just really, really happy. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then one of their they had a grandson that was in kindergarten when I was out there, and it's like, well, I think I'm a trans feminine, and so I go out there and there's this beautiful young lady now, and it was just, it was like I was just going out there for a coming out party, and now I've radically changed the life of this whole family now, and so it's just kind of funny how all of that stuff has worked out, and we're all happier, and it was all just stuff that was once a dream, but it all happened, and so I'm just really reflecting on that a lot right now. And I just believed great things would happen, and I had no capacity to make it happen, but the capacity materializes, and everything turned out better than I ever imagined. And so I just what Jimmy's always saying about belief and confidence, uh, all of that stuff is really true. And um, right now we can become enslaved by fear and dread and bad outcomes, or we can operate on a higher plane saying life was really good for us until 2 or 3 years ago, and it's going to be good again. It's going to be good again, and we're all doing all we can to get it returned to where it's good again. But anyhow, I need to shut up.
Oh, come on.
It was fabulous.
You don't need to shut up. Raji, you go now, girl.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, if you insist. Hi, everybody. So, wow. Like, so far, everything said, today is so powerful. It really is. And it's amazing, Bobby, you shared about how you crossed paths with this gentleman, and basically he changed your life. And I'm sure now you've done, like you were sharing with his family, you changed their life. And it's amazing how, like, you can just cross paths with somebody and you don't know the impact that it will have going forward. Yeah, also, he had to be someone really special to be able to deal with his daughter and all her issues that she had. I mean, some parents wouldn't have been able to handle that. So thank you for
No,
sharing.
let me interrupt you real quick. I'll never forget what they said. It was like, okay, this is the hand we were dealt. How are we going to play it?
Oh, love it.
Yeah. And that's all there was to it. This is a hand we're dealt. How are we going to play it?
How are we going to play it?
Yeah.
And that says a lot about life in general. You know, we all are dealt a hand, and how are we going to play it? So that's powerful.
Yeah.
Manifestation. I mean, I've seen it all through my life, and it's amazing when you really do desire something and you focus and you work towards it, like, you know, being led. Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should research this. We get led along the way as we're desiring and wanting a particular goal or outcome. And also, we bump into people along the way that sometimes see it in us before we really can see it in ourselves. I remember I was in my early 20s. I had just moved down to South Florida. And there was a woman that lived across the street from where I was staying. Very nice every time. At that time, I didn't have a car. So I was literally walking to the bus stop to go to work and to do errands and stuff. And then when I come home, like on the way home, she'd be out in the yard and she'd wave and say hello. So this one day, I'm walking by and she calls me over and she says, I had a dream about you. She says, actually, it's more of a vision. I said, really? So, sorry, I have to take a swig of water. I feel like I'm getting choked up. Anyway, she said, one day, many people around the world will know you. And I looked at her because I was like 21, maybe 22, somewhere in that range. And I said, really? I said, well, how? You know, and she says, I don't know how. She said, I don't know if it's going to be because of something you do or something that happened to you, or she said, I don't know the scenario, but she says, many people will know who you are. And she says, I can't tell you if it's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, but it will happen in this lifetime. So I just kind of listened to her and I thought, wow, well, you know, if I can touch the world, because from a little kid, I always had this thing in me that wanted to do something to impact the world, like, you know, on a level where it wasn't just my community, it was beyond. I didn't know how that was going to be, but I knew that I wanted it. I desired it. And a lot of times when we desire something, we have a picture of what it is we want, but the way it manifests oftentimes will shock you. Like the way things unfold and you get to where you want it, sometimes it'll be something that you wouldn't even have been able to conceive at the time. So I went on, that was like early 20s, and 10 years went by, 20 years went by. Then it was about 25 years. Around 44 is when it happened. When I say it happened, my story went viral. I was thrusted into the world media. And I'm going to share with you the month before this all happened. I had a friend that had a boyfriend who was a national DJ on a radio station. And we were talking one night, and I was saying, "Oh God, you know, because I had been doing a lot of activism here locally. I mean, I've been an activist for like 25 years now, so I had been doing like a lot for the community and putting myself out there. But I had this thing in me, like I felt like, you know, more people need to hear my story, and I just wanted to touch more people. So she says, "Oh, well, let me talk to my boyfriend. Maybe I can get you on the radio." You know, it was national. So I was like, "Oh my God, that would be so great. Like, yeah, talk to him. I would love it." So about a week went by, I didn't hear anything. So maybe about another week, we were talking. So she didn't mention anything about it. So I brought it up, like, did you talk to your boyfriend? And she says, oh, yeah, I did. And he said that there wouldn't be people that would really be interested in your story. Wouldn't be really that many people. And he didn't think it was worth featuring me on the show. But when she said that, my heart kind of dropped and I started to feel like depleted a little bit. So we finished the conversation, and I was sitting there thinking, damn, like, really? No one would be interested. I'm sure there's people out there in the world that I can touch, And in that moment, I said, I don't care. I don't care that he rejected me. I know what I want. And I declared it out loud. I said it out loud. I know what it is I want. And this is going to happen. And literally the next month, forget about radio, I was on TV all over the world. And after it happened, I was like, because I had completely forgot about the DJ guy. And then I thought one day, damn, he said he rejected me for his radio show. And then the next month, look at me. I was on radio, I was on TV, I was all over social media, the different social media platforms. And the whole point was I didn't know how it was going to happen, but it was happening. And I used the platform to my best ability. I mean, when you're dealing with the media, they can spin things and all of that. But I can certainly say, with full confidence that every time I did an interview or, on TV, or I was on reality TV or whatever it was, I always had my activism at the forefront of my mind. I always did that. And because my thing was, again, from a little kid, I wanted to touch the world. I didn't know how. So now you can Google me. You could just put in Rajee, Rajee. I pop right up, a whole Wikipedia on me, tons of pictures, video. I mean, it's amazing. And I didn't know how this was going to happen, but it happened. And it happened, I think I can say that in my case, I was able to take lemons and make lemonade, or really lemon meringue pie. So, yeah, so, it's just when I think of my journey, but a lot of times when you're wanting something and you get it, you don't even realize until after the fact. And you're like, oh my God, I wanted that. I wanted that. And it has a way of manifesting. And it's oftentimes because you don't expect for it to manifest the way it does. So, and this is another quick thing, and I'll throw it back to Ella. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at a fair, a church fair with my mom and my sister. It was on a Saturday. We went, and there was a fortune teller lady there. So it was it was $1 to get your palm read. So I was like, Mom, can I have $1? I want to go get my palm read. So I walk in to the tent. She was kind of like gypsy like in a way. And so she starts reading my palm, and she's telling me about, oh, you're doing good in school, and just general stuff. And then all of a sudden she says, oh my God. Oh my God. I see hundreds and hundreds of men. And I started laughing because I'm like 7, right? And she's like, no, you don't understand me. You have to be careful. These men are going to want you sexually. She says, there's so many of them. And I knew not to tell my mom, because when I went back to my mom was like, oh, what did the fortune teller tell you? I knew, you better not tell your mom that. But What she was seeing is she was seeing the internet. She didn't know, she wasn't seeing the internet. She was seeing the amount of men that like around the world that have like given me attention or whatever. And so she was seeing the number and not being able to comprehend that, oh yeah, there'll be an internet and that will be possible. Because back then, this was in like the 70s,
Right.
so
No
there was,
personal computers then.
yeah, there
Yeah.
was no computers, but she couldn't believe, like, she kept, it was like she says, I see, like there's like a sea of them, and it was, I couldn't do anything but laugh. But anyway, I just thought that was a funny story. Again, somebody who was seeing something in me before I even saw it. So Ella, back to you.
Yeah, that's really quite incredible. I have to say I've been a couple of times to fortune tellers too, and they've told me a lot of things, and many of things actually they came right. Things which are sometimes I would not have never believed, but that's the way it came. But
Yeah.
in a way, it's the manifestation in you which is very important, I think. And I think manifestation is more than just what you think. It's actually the way you're born, the way that, that actually your soul is affecting your life and your soul and your universe. It is, I mean, I see it from this point of view because I think many things that in my life, which I thought it would be impossible, even one, like, being a transgender woman, um, or being a woman, it came through. Everything comes through. Everything comes through. But in the beginning, in the first place, I have to ask, why do you think of them? Why are you attracted to that?
Yeah.
And it is a very important thing in manifestation. And Jimmy saw something about being positive and, do not destroy your visions, do not destroy. But, it's something very important too. Feeling. Trust yourself. Trust what comes from your inner self, because that is what you are. This is so, I mean, that's what I try to do right now. And believe me, things don't fall like the way you would like to. Sometimes you have to come to a certain level to be able to experience it. So it's not automatic. It's not automatic. Raji, you were telling like this. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, because what I mean is you have to be vibrating at that particular frequency to receive the manifestation. Because if you want something but you don't believe that you deserve it or that you should have it or that it's attainable, then the thing is there's going to be blockage. It's not going to flow to you. And so you hit that on the head, Ella. The whole thing about your emotions and your vibration, and you have to be ready for it, for the manifestation.
Absolutely. So, but always trust yourself.
Right.
Always trust yourself, because you are the center of your life. Nobody else is. Only you are the center of your life. I mean, before, we're talking about what's going on around us and the evolution of what's going on. Does that matter for you? Yes, it might, some things might make the life of some people more difficult. Sure. But hey, look at this wonderful world. You see, I travel a lot, as you probably know, or you probably understood already. I've been in many countries with many, many different types of manifestations and many different types of civilizations. Some are hostile to some people, some are not. And that is okay. That people choose their way out. People choose to get something that they can tell this is my life and I want to live it the way I want. Even in the worst places. And I admire them for them. I admire so much for them. And I know people that, they probably can do it because they just go to somewhere where it is more appreciable or better for them. I mean, I've got South Arabian friends, which are gay. If they were in Saudi Arabia, I don't think they would live for a long time. But as a matter of fact, they some of them even live in very difficult places, which do not appreciate very much the LGBT. But they have got their lives and they've got their things and they thrive and they do whatever they want. It's a question of not being negative and trying to be the way you are. Yeah, manifestation. Yeah.
Right. I just something I meant to say and I forget, and I didn't want to forget it.
Go ahead.
Some things to help with manifesting, and I learned this. There's nothing like knowing somebody that's got a very dire cancer diagnosis to help bring a lot of things into focus. But I remember one thing that she wanted to put pictures on the refrigerator, and we got real interested in camping and this really nice kind of vintage retro kind of camping trailer. And she says, well, let's get a picture of that, put it on the refrigerator. We'll look at it every day. Every time we go to the refrigerator, we're going to see this camper. And it's like 3 months. We own the freaking thing. It's exactly what was in the picture. And I remember listening to Jim Carrey a long time ago. And when he first got started, when he got his first acting gig, he wrote himself a check for $1 million and dated it 1 year from that date, because he was gonna be so successful with acting that he was going to be able to cash. He had no money, but within a year he was going to be able to cash that $1 million check, and lo and behold, he did. And now that I'm saying that, I think I need to find my checkbook. I'm gonna put that on the refrigerator. But no, really, if there's something you really want, put a picture of it somewhere where you're going to see it a lot every day. And that helps a lot. So.
Absolutely. No, but it is true. Like, think about it and the universe gives it to you, but thinking about in a positive manner and trust your feelings, because it's in your feelings which are telling what you need, and that is so important. I mean, that's for me, it's my vision and my reality. So I think that we're going to be finished soon. Let's go to our last roundup. Would you like to start, Jimmy?
Sure. So I really enjoy listening to everybody. Everyone has a pretty powerful story. And I'm listening to Bobby talk about Gandhi's quote. And right now I think the Olympics are going on.
Yeah.
And so these Olympic athletes had to prepare immensely, a lot of practice to get to where they're at now. So they may have not have had the capability to do these things a year ago, but over time they developed those abilities to do triple flips and balance beam, and some of these routines are pretty impressive. And so it's the power of belief. And I think it was Raji and Bobby both talked about we have an intention, we have an idea, we have a vision, but also we need to allow some wiggle room for the universe to work behind the scenes on our behalf to make all this happen. And all these things where Raji's neighbor, and all these people that have these, they're not chance encounters. These are I do believe the web of consciousness is woven so deep that something can happen 30 years prior to initiate what happens today. And again, I think that there's only a handful of people on the planet, if that, can comprehend the magnitude of the deep web of consciousness and that spans time somehow. Somehow, some lady can be pulling weeds in her front yard and have a vision for someone else that's going to occur 40 years later. You know, that's just an example of how deeply woven our consciousnesses are with one another. And if we just understand that there's forces out there that are beyond our comprehension, but we can tap into them with our thoughts and the vibration of our being. And I think it was Raji or somebody, maybe it was Ella, was, you know, we need to think as if if the result has already occurred. Think that, like these Olympic athletes, they have to visualize that they're standing on the first place podium with their national anthem playing. Yeah, you visualize that, and then just put in the work, and it'll happen. Absolutely. So that's believe in ourselves, get out of our own way, and trust the universe is going to work behind the scenes on our behalf to manifest our reality. And the more we believe this, the greater chances that it's going to happen. The belief has to be without question that I have the ability to create my own reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jimmy.
Ella.
Bobby, shall I give it to you? Your last word?
Yeah, I need a pop. Hold on a second. Let's see. Here we go. No, that's not it. This one. Yeah, this one.
Like your dress.
I got to thinking about what my friend in San Francisco and his wife said, you know, back when I first met him. It's like, this is a hand we were dealt. How are we going to play it? And I think that is a really great starting point. and you know, and so I made a decision to leave my hotel, go to Berkeley, meet this family. And one thing leads to another. And it turns out that everybody in Silicon Valley wanted to help develop something for this young girl. And everybody that was like her, there's a whole lot of people in that part of the world that have kids with disabilities. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. So anyhow, I said I wrote my dissertation there. And then they came by a few months later and said, do you think you and your team could write a book, not a dissertation? Could you write a book? Computer resources for people with disabilities. And we didn't think we could, but it was like, well, just make a table of contents. Sit down, make a table of contents, see if that helps you make a book. And so we did. And so anyhow, it's coming along, and I wrote most of it, and I'm the editor and all this stuff. And we're getting close to the end. And this is a manifestation. I wanted to get about how do you play the hand you're dealt? And it was like, well, we need somebody famous to write a foreword. And I thought, who's the most famous technology user in the whole world? Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. Yes. So I go to the library and I find a fax number for Stephen Hawking, and I wrote him. I said, would you write a foreword? Here's some chapters. Would you be interested in writing a foreword? And he was thrilled. Oh my God, he wrote back. He said, nobody's ever asked me to talk about my technology. I would love to write that. So here it is, a foreword by Stephen Hawking, and his first page is here. And then George Lucas, oh my God, Star Wars guy. He wanted to write something on the back. And so it was like, I guess how do you play the hand you were dealt? That's all. That's I learned a ton about how to do that from this family with uh, just this girl that was in incredibly bad shape. And what a glorious story it's all turned into. And so that's the main thing. It's like you have been dealt a hand. Every one of us has been dealt our hand. How are we going to play it? And I just want to encourage everybody to get good at cards.
Yeah. Raji.
Sure. So, well, yeah, there's certainly wonderful tools that we all can do. The visualization, the writing things down, getting a picture, like Bobby was saying, that's powerful, and looking at it. Those things really do help. And they aid in the process of manifestation. And then, like Ella, you were saying, being able to believe that you can get what you want, and that whole vibration thing and the emotions of that. But I want to share another quick story, which I think is amazing in my life. So in 1997, I decided to write Mother Teresa a letter of gratitude. I don't know. I just woke up one day and I just felt this need to write her, to thank her for the positive work she's done in the world. So I sat down and I did a letter out to her, and I mailed it. I sent a little package to her. And I thought, oh, well, that'll be the end of it. Like, at least hopefully, like one of her assistants will get it and they'll read it and maybe relay the message, or who knows. But I just did it out of goodwill, and I did it because I was led to do it. Well, a few months later, I go to my mailbox and there is a letter from Mother Teresa, and it's handwritten. It's in her handwriting. And it was just amazing. I was like, my God. At that point, no one like really hardly knew me. I mean, just like my immediate circle. And I thought, this woman took time out to write me back and thank me. And she died in September of that same year. So, follow your gut. Like, if you're led to do something, it's important to follow it. Because I might have just said, I'm not going to write her. She won't get the letter. And then she would have died, and I would have never had that opportunity. So, anyway, on that note, I just
Got
want
a handwritten letter from a saint. That's pretty special.
handwritten letter from Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
And you can tell it was her because she was very old at that time. And it was very short. It wasn't a long thing. It was like more of like a note from her. And she signed her name, Mother Teresa. And yeah, so
one of my favorite quotes from her is, I know God won't give me more than I can handle. I just wish he didn't trust me so much.
I love that one. I've never heard that one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, I just want to follow up with one little thing about manifestation, and that is, everybody has fears. Everybody has fears. That's normal. When there are big mountains to climb, there are big fears to get over with. But you know what? The magic is not to let the fears take over. The magic is always to keep positive, believing, and that 5 seconds that you have fear, say, out of here, go away, go away. Okay, with those final notes, and thank you very much for watching us. We'll come next week again, and bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great day.
Peace and blessings. Namaste. Mwah.
Bye.